Frequency, Episode 11, Negative Copy. Really enjoyed this episode. I feel like they threw in a couple of good twists. I was very curious how things were going to play out with Raimy being investigated and all that stuff. And they're kind of like, yeah, we'll kind of introduce that, and then we'll kind of just get rid of it. And, halfway through the episode, time changes again, so she gets to go back through the process, which she kind of screwed up that second time, too. I was like, man, she really should have waited. Like, she went all out, and the way they did it, I thought was very cool, because they kind of pushed the timetable backwards. Because when Satch came up to her, it was like, yeah, the guy was clear, we had to let him go. He mentioned the bounce checks, or whatever the actual case was with the fake checks, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It pushed the timetable back because of this guy going through this process, which ended up being, at least in the beginning, it was like, oh, well, he was stalled for a little bit of time. Of course, he was freaked out. He didn't seem too freaked out because he stayed at home. Like, I mean, somebody comes into my house and maces me and then puts me in their trunk. I'm not staying at home the next day. Like, I might go home that night, but I'm going to gather my stuff up. Maybe, yeah, I'll clean up, take a shower, get everything that I feel I really need, and then I'm gone. Like, I'm not sticking around, or I'm at least saying something. I mean, because somebody just came after me. Like, at this point, he does have the stuff inside his house, like the dead bodies and stuff like that. So, in that regard, that, of course, makes a lot of sense as to why he wouldn't say anything. But, before the money thing came up, I mean, even as a criminal, I probably would have tried to figure something out. I mean, I don't know, blow the walls open. I mean, obviously they show in the present with Raimy, he kind of knew that something was going to happen, so that's why he moved the bodies to begin with. Once I get kidnapped, that's exactly what I would have done. Like, day one, I would have been like, all right, well, this is happening. I'm getting rid of these bodies as soon as possibly possible. But, he kind of sits at home, he's having dinner and stuff, and, Frank goes into the house, he's about to take him down, and that's when the lady shows up, which I thought that was going down a different path. I thought he was going to just, like, kill her and just take off, like, there's way too much heat, I'm just going to get rid of her, and then just take off, and, they won't know who I am. But he was a lot smarter than I guess I would have been in that case. But the way it all played out, I really enjoyed it, because, like I said, it starts off with Raimy being investigated and stuff, and then with the crash taking place, which I didn't expect that to go the way it did either, where the drunk driver ends up actually giving himself up and saying, yeah, I hit a Crown Vic with the lights in the front. I was really surprised by that. I was like, wow, I didn't think that's how that would, play out. I just thought he'd get busted. But it seemed simple enough. I was like, okay, he told his wife, and things seemed simple enough. She was on his side. And then the drunk driver thing happens. It's like, yeah, all the precincts are counting, their Crown Vics and everything. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect it to come out that way. Plus, of course, he says, I definitely saw a guy jump out of the trunk, too. So, things are getting pretty crazy. Satch is, like, all over Frank's case. We find out exactly why Satch and Stan are so close, and it's because Stan backed up Satch as far as, like, self-defense and stuff, which I feel like he didn't really owe him that much. I mean, the guy definitely was nuts. Like, it wasn't like they were even, fighting and he could have stopped. Like, he was basically charging this guy because he was trying to go for the gun, and they kept going really far, and he fell off the building. And I'm like, I feel like he didn't really need, like, a whole backup plan. Like, he wasn't there. And I'm sure they may have lied about that too, I don't know. But he's like, he had my back big time. And I'm like, yeah, but, he was hit quite a few times. Like, he got hit in the back with the pipe. He got knocked onto the ground. The guy was punching him in the face a couple of times. He had to hit him with the brick. I thought that was going to be it, that he, like, hit him in the head with the brick and he, like, killed him by accident, which I really would have thought, like, that doesn't even make sense. But I don't know, even with everything that happened, I'm like, I just don't see how he needed to really have his back in that sort of case. Like, with everything that happened, like, the way it played out, of course, we see it, as viewers, it's different than someone just telling the story, like, But I feel like in that case, it's not that crazy to have believed, Satch in the first place. So it was just like, man, I feel like that wasn't as risky as I was expecting it to be as to why they're so deep with each other. I was like, I feel like he could have got out of that without any sort of backup, if I'm being totally honest. But, that's the explanation as to why Satch is, so connected with Moreno, and, why he backs him up over, even backing up Frank now that they're partners. But I thought that was interesting. You know, he's told his secrets. I still don't think Frank is going to tell him anything, of course, because that would just be stupid. But he does do something stupid in the promo where he tells the deacon, like, you know, I guess the back of my trunk wasn't a clear enough message. We got 2 episodes left, I believe it said, and I just don't really know what to think about that. Like, there are a couple of things that have already happened. You know, by the end of the episode, Frank gets the money inside the house, which is a great idea. That changes things up, and so Raimy ends up going to the cabin, and she finds out that Megan is fine, but something happened to her brother. Now, we still don't know what happened, so maybe they arrested him, you know, arrested the deacon in the past, but it was stealing money, so it's like, well, that's, you know, that's not a life sentence sort of deal. So maybe he escaped, and the first thing he did was he went to find them, and he ended up shooting, you know, her brother or something, because he was bleeding and stuff. It looked like he was either stabbed or shot, so I'm assuming that that's what's going to be happening in the current time. So I am excited to see exactly how that's supposed to play out, but that's my guess right now, is that, you know, he stole a bunch of money, but he didn't steal enough to go to jail for life. So he gets out. First thing he decides to do is, you know, basically, he's crazy, so, you know, he just decides, let me just kill the people that I know the most. It's hard to really say, but I did love this episode. I thought it was really cool, you know, the way they went about everything, and I am excited. We have, you know, like I said, 2 more episodes. I feel like Frank made a very stupid decision saying the stuff about him being in the trunk. I was like, that's a horrible idea to play his cards like that. Kind of like with Raimy, where it's like, I know you did this and there's bodies here. And then she looked like a crazy person. So I don't really know what to expect with this guy. Like, there's not much he can say. I mean, he could say, like, I was in the back of the trunk, and maybe they'll investigate a little bit further, and they'll find out, you know, the car that's in the garage isn't actually the Crown Vic, or at least not his Crown Vic, Frank's. So, in one regard, yeah, they could totally do that, but I don't know. Either way, I just don't think it's going to go right. I mean, we have 2 episodes. Obviously, he's not going to go to jail right in the very next episode, so something bad has to happen, but either way, I'm looking forward to it. I still think this was a good episode. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, least favorite parts. And with Frank, at least in the promo, revealing that he was the one that put the deacon in the back of the trunk, I want to know where you guys think that's going to take the story. There's not much left. You know, 2 episodes, probably the end of the series. I still haven't looked up anything as far as whether this show's been renewed or not, but either way, we got 2 more episodes, whether season or series finale. We got 2 more for this, you know, the story arc. So I want to know where you think him revealing that is going to lead these last 2 episodes, because I just don't think it's a good idea. This guy has proven resourceful in multiple timelines. He's killed a bunch of people. He constantly escapes, whether he changes his identity or not. People, you know, he's just a deacon, so he's always in the clear. Even with this money thing, that's not on the same level as he killed a ton of people as the Nightingale killer. So they don't care. You know, people aren't going to care that much about him still. And now Frank's revealed what he knows. Like, I know everything about you and who you are. I just don't think that's a good idea. But I would love to know where you guys think that'll take the last 2 episodes. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.